Hello, happy Easter to you. In 1975, I celebrated Easter Day at Nooka, former Anglican mission to the Aboriginal people of southern Arnhem Land. There was a wonderful local man there called Goomberly, who'd been ordained to lead the community once the missionaries had gone. And as he told the Easter story that morning, he described with words, laughter and sweeping gestures the surprise that the first women who came to the tomb felt when they found that the tomb was empty. When he rolled the figurative stone away from the tomb, the whole congregation, including myself, gasped loudly in awe as he proclaimed that there was no one inside. Jesus was all risen up. This was storytelling at its very best. Our disbelief was in suspension because we were fully engaged as if we were there, outside the empty tomb with the women. The best playwrights and filmmakers know that the trick of success is getting us willingly to suspend our cynicism, our skepticism or our disbelief so that we might fully enter the stories that they tell. Shakespeare is the great artist in English who can get us to suspend our disbelief, even sometimes without knowing it. In our own time, the Marvel series of movies is a good example of the same thing. Nobody actually believes that the world of villains and superheroes in those films is a real world, but we do willingly suspend our disbelief so that we can engage with the deeper meaning of the scriptwriters and their film. They're inevitably drawing us images of light and dark, good and evil, strength and weakness, as they weave stories of increasing incredulity. But somehow we understand the deeper meaning of these fictional stories and live happily with the ambiguities between the world we know and the world being portrayed on the screen. I suspect that the problem with believing the Easter story comes from a similar place. However, we might not find ourselves so willing to suspend disbelief when we're confronted with the rawness of the Easter suite of stories. Betrayal, abandonment, rejection, denial, pointless suffering are all a bit too close to the reality of our own experience to allow us to suspend disbelief and enter the story. The Marvel movie world presents us with a colour palette and an emotional landscape that is like us but also sufficiently unlike us to be not too disturbing. The story of Jesus is different. Here the God-man, who in spite of all the good he does, is still finally tried and executed against all good sense. In this story, we can see the thinly veiled realities of our own fragile lives. And the painful injustice that Jesus suffers is just below the surface, in our fears, our own anxieties, and our own nightmares. Ridiculous obsession with hoarding toilet paper at the start of the current COVID pandemic was a powerful reminder of just how close to the surface of our lives is deep anxiety and real fear about the future. The horizon of the Easter story is quite different. From the familiarity of betrayal, injustice, persecution and death, Jesus invites us to see a new and deeper reality that God's final word is always yes. Yes to new life, new beginnings, new hope. Yes to a deeper experience of God's love and forgiveness towards us. Yes to communities of strange, broken, fragile, hopeful people who long for a distant shore of happiness and peace. Yes to the opportunity to abandon insecurity and embarrassment to discover a new sense of community, a new sense of belonging. In this strange, unfamiliar, isolating world of COVID-19, our present context, which has no obvious end, we're hearing again the Easter story with new, itchy ears, longing to hear something that is hopeful and less anxious, something about new beginnings and new freedoms, about death defeated and love triumphant. May we have the courage to hear and believe and proclaim that the stone is rolled away, that God is at work in our world still, bringing new life from death. Christ is risen. Yes, risen indeed. May you have a happy and blessed Easter.